Alright, hi guys, it's Narrative Tarot. I'm here for deck review stuff. So I'm going to try to do 3 short videos and go through each of these decks on their own and just talk a little bit about them briefly. So hi, Narrative Tarot, I read tarot, bootleg, intuitive astrologer. I am also currently a massage therapy student. And yeah, I do, well, I don't do them right now. My previous video explained this, but I used to do monthly videos for, like, your monthlies, your tarot monthlies. But I read by planet, not zodiac. And so that's on pause until basically the end of the year. If I feel like putting it back up, then I will, but most likely not. Book reviews, hauls, just shit like that. It's kind of where I'm feeling, and then I'm reading for people, so it's kind of like, not professionally just yet, but getting started. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, I post generally between Thursday and Sunday. I do think I will start back up with the weeklies. I did it for about like 2-3 weeks maybe and fell off with it, so look out for that. But yeah, so let's kind of turn this on. No, I'm just like stretching. Oh god. Okay, so I bought 3 decks for this month as of right now. And so the 3 decks I'm gonna talk about now. The first deck for its own video is the Archetypes, the Wild Unknown Archetypes. So I could have sworn she was working on like another deck, like a 4th deck. It doesn't look like she is, but I could have sworn like the most recent stuff she was working on that. Anyway, this is her like this is her 3rd deck. So you would know the first one, like the Wild Unknown. It was like indie, and then it was mass market. Then she did the Spirit Animal one, and now she's done the Archetypes. And this is it. So this is what it looks like. This is the box. I got mine at Barnes and Noble. And wait, did I? Yeah, Barnes and Noble. And yeah, this is what it is. It's $39.99 on there. It may be cheaper online, but I'm trying not to get like scammed. So this is what it looks like. It's in like a square thing. The packaging is really nice. She's a really good designer for like packaging and stuff like that. I think she like was an illustrator already anyway. But yeah. So it comes in this box here, open up with a flap. There's usually like some sort of thing, quote or whatever. So this one is accept all, reject none. This is the book. It goes through all of them. So each archetype gets a page for the actual picture of the card, and then a page for the like explanation and stuff like that. So there's quite a few of them. It breaks up into different sections. So this is the content right here. So let's just go explain it. So the selves, those are the group of archetypes. The selves, the places, the tools, and then the initiations. And so those are the main categories. There's 78 like this, like the tarot. So there's 78 of these. Now the thing with that is, if you're not someone who can read the like Roman numerals, then like, you might just wanna go and look for the word and the contents. But yeah, I can read the Roman numerals, so it's not like a big deal to me. So her art style is kind of like collage with like drawings and I think like a little bit of paint, like watercolor or something like that. I think she's a really skilled artist. I think she's really perceptive and intentional. I know a lot of people kind of like Kim Krantz, like, ooh, but like, as far as like, because her decks are so mainstream, I find that people who are very like bitter about mainstream decks are kind of like the real traditionalist kind of tarot people, and it's like I don't want to be like, what's your deal? But like, what's your deal? Um, but it's but I find her work to be actually quite elevated. I like that she works kind of human less. Like she's not really into putting a bunch of like people on decks and stuff like that. Like there's an intention I think to step away from that. And I kind of think there's a little bit of intention of I wouldn't be surprised if she has animist beliefs or anything like that, because I kind of feel like having animist beliefs myself, I can kind of see why these decks that she has, but this one also, I like resonating. So I like her expansive kind of nature about the decks. Like I think all of the decks are quite expansive. I think this one is her most expansive, and I think it's because it deals with archetypes. So archetypes to me is just like very large energy, very large or high minded consciousness, and so it kind of goes a little bit beyond the nature ones, which is the ones like the first ones and stuff like that. That first deck, the Wild Unknown, I like it because it's like the information, the peer that's talking to you is not a human, and I like that perspective. It's not really a peer in her animal spirit, it's a little bit elevated. It kind of feels like the peer is like you share earth with these non-humans, and then the spirit one is kind of like, yeah, there's some that are there, but there's like it's almost like it's starting to elevate to the archetypal energy of not necessarily the individual animal that you may come across, but like the archetype of what it means to be a bat or a wolf or something like that, you know. So I really enjoy it. So really large energy for me. I like that. I like that I'm able to collect one card and I can get a lot of information. Now, I live in the US and I was looking at things related to 9/11, which is like, you know, a whole thing here. So I had gotten a card for it, like the aftermath and stuff like that, and I got the judge, and I was like, oh, this is fitting as shit because of the description. And so once I got that, I knew that this was a keeper. And I do like ancestral patterns and stuff like that because you're dealing with like large groups of people. You're dealing with, you know, ancestors. You're dealing with large groups of people. You're dealing with lineage and stuff like that. And I feel like this is a deck that can deal with that. Now, this is the first deck that's in a circle, which I kind of like in that I kind of like the design wise because I don't think the designs for this would be well translated to a rectangular or even square. I think that the circle, I'm just always thinking about like the waist. Not even that I'm a zero waist kind of person, but just like, what's the waist on like using like circle instead of something else? But yeah, this is what it looks like. These are the backs, which is like, I guess it's a diamond. I know that I watched a video and somebody was saying that it's pixelated, and so they're kind of like, I don't know if that's intentional though, so. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So these are archetypes. They're very different from one another. There are a few, we're coming up on it, like this one. that I kind of am like artistically, like it doesn't go with the rest. But for the most part, even for this one, I kind of am like all the colors and stuff. It's like the composition of it. If you're not a collage-y type person, then like this is not for you at all. Because like while there's like water, like color and stuff like that, like there's obviously like, you know, collage stuff. So I personally enjoy it. I think that it's a wonderful deck for large energy. Like I said, ancestral workings, ancestral patterning specifically, personal like patterning, things like that. I find it really good. And you don't need multiple, you can just use one. And it's really profound, I think. The book I really enjoy as well. Just because the descriptions, it's like, it'll give you keywords, it'll give you a paragraph for the description, it'll give you just kind of a little bit of an exercise or food for thought. And I enjoy when people put effort into the guidebook instead of like, it's just like basic stuff. And I think because it's archetypes, it lends itself to being explained just a little bit more. So you may see these in the future. Most likely I'll just use them in like private readings though. I am considering, and this is the first time I've considered it, getting a duplicate deck to work with personally so that I can go through and study the archetypes in greater depth. Because I am getting into archetypes a little bit more. I think it's because it lends itself to larger energy. Even if I'm working with one person, I think larger energies that they can explore and grow and expand. It's an expansion thing, and it's a depth that I think that sometimes regular tarot doesn't do because we're so fixated on like what's happening in this card specifically. And even if you're working together, I think it's still the information has to come down here versus with this, I feel like you have to kind of ascend up to deal with the messages that are coming through. And to put yourself and elevate yourself beyond, right? Because archetypes, like I said, I think they're a lot more elevated. Not that her other two decks are terrible, but I could see how they're more peer-to-peer versus these are larger, just larger, I dropped some cards, larger energies. So I really enjoy this deck. It's one of my personal favorites now. And in the future, if you see me with them, don't be like, what? And then it's pretty like Instagrammable, but I'm not really on Instagram like that as much anymore. And I kind of am not interested in just making an aesthetic looking thing. I actually want to say something, and I think that these cards actually do say something, which, you know, some people aren't necessarily, they wouldn't be in agreement based on how they look, but I think working with them, for me and the stuff specifically that I want to do, it's definitely worth it. So if you have a Barnes & Noble or wherever you are in the world, I would definitely recommend this one, particularly if you're doing ancestral work, or even I did astrological work, like pulling a card for, I pulled one for Haiti, I pulled one for the US, I think I pulled one for Mexico. Yeah, I just wanted to pull like energies, so, and see what I got, and they were quite interesting, and I could see, so if you're interested in astrology, you might want to do that as well. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I'm going to do another video for another deck. Yeah, bye.